Good day, I am Alain Dave Del Rosario from BSN 1 and 15. Now I'll be going to demonstrate on assessing the neurological system. So the basic concept, it is an examination of the neurologic system which comprises the assessment of the mental status including the level of consciousness, the cranial nerves, reflexes, motor and sensory functions. Some parts of the neurologic assessment are performed throughout the health assessment like mental status assessment, observing the appearance, and cranial nerve functions. So the main objectives is to obtain an accurate nursing history of the client's neurologic system and to determine any deviations or abnormal findings of the client's nervous system functioning. And lastly is to formulate valid nursing diagnosis, collaborative problems, and referrals. So the preparation is first, you should assemble the equipment, which is the sugar, salt, lemon juice, quinine flavors, percussion hammer, tongue depressors, wisps of cotton to assess light touch sensation, then test tubes of the hot and cold water. For skin temperature assessment, it's optional. So pins or needles for tactile discrimination. So the second is to introduce first yourself and verify the client's identity. Then explain to the client what you are going to do and why it is necessary and how the client can cooperate. Then also perform hand hygiene and observe other appropriate infection control procedures. So since we're done to perform an hand hygiene, let's proceed to provide for client privacy. So the first procedure is inquire if the client has any history of the following. So presence of pain in the head, back or extremities, as well as onset and aggravating and alleviating factors, disorientation to time, place, or person speech disorders, any history of lost consciousness, fainting, convulsions, trauma, tingling, or numbness, tremors or tics, limping, paralysis, uncontrolled muscles, movements, loss of memory or mood swings, problems with smell or vision, taste, touch, or hearing. So now let's proceed on assessing the language. So if the client displays difficulty speaking, so point to common objects. So I will go to get uncommon, 3 common objects. Then I will ask the client to name it. So, ma'am, what's this object?
A book.
A book. Very good.
I know.
This one.
A ruler.
Wow, very good. This one.
A marker.
Thank you, ma'am. You're good.
I know.
Then, ask the client to read some words and to match the printed and written words with pictures. So, how to read this one?
President Vice.
Wow. Then, who is this?
That's Vice Ganda.
Very
Phenomenal
good.
box office star.
Yeah. Then ask the client to respond to simple verbal and written commands. So, ma'am, can you raise your right hand? Very good. Then your left hand. Yes. Thank you, ma'am. Now, let us proceed on orientation. So, determine the client's orientation to time, place, and person by tactful questioning. So, ma'am, do you have any family member who has an illness condition with regards to loss of memory or who has brain injury?
No.
So, the client was able to comprehend through the detail. So, more direct questioning might be necessary for some people. So, ma'am, where are you now?
I'm at the hospital.
Thank you. So now let's proceed on assessing the memory. So listen for lapses in memory. Ask the client about difficulty with memory. So if problems are apparent, 3 categories of memory are tested, which is the immediate recall, recent memory and remote memory. So now, let us first assess the immediate recall. So we're going to ask the client to repeat a series of 3 digits. So we're going to instruct her to speak it slowly. So ma'am, can you repeat after me? 7, 4, 3.
7, 4, 3.
Then, gradually increase the number of the digits. So we're going to increase the number of the digit. So, 7, 4, 3, 5, 6.
7, 4, 3, 5, 6.
Very good. And 7, 4, 3, 5, 6, 7, 2.
7, 4, 3, 5, 6, 7, 2.
Then start again with a series of 3 digits, but this time, I will ask the client to repeat it backward. So ma'am, can you remember the 3 digits?
Yes.
So can you say it back in backward?
3, 4, 7.
Very good, ma'am. So this mid-century is coherent enough to identify the numbers that must be instructed to occur. So normally, the individual could recall 4 to 5 or 6 number in a given situation. So overall, the findings are normal. So I will going to proceed to assess the recent memory. So we're going to ask the client to recall the recent events of the day, such as how she got here to the clinic. So this information must be validated. So ma'am, how will you get here at the clinic?
I went here and drove my Lamborghini.
Then I will also ask the client to recall information given early in the interview. So ma'am, can you recall my name?
I'm your nurse, Elaine Dave Del Rosario.
Thank you, you're great. So, provide the client with 3 facts to recall, such as a color, an object, an address, or a 3-digit number, and ask the client to repeat all 3. So, later in the interview, ask the client to recall all 3 items. So, ma'am, can you recall what the 3 objects that I have given to you?
A book, a ruler, and a marker.
Can you repeat the 3-digit that I have given to you?
7, 4, 3.
Very good. This means the patient is capable in determining the past events and able to comprehend. So overall, the findings are normal. So now let us proceed to assess the remote memory. So I will going to ask the client to describe a previous illness or surgery. So ma'am, do you have a previous illness or surgery?
No.
So since the client doesn't have any past history or operations, we're going to ask one significant event that happens a year or 2 years. Ma'am, can you tell me the name of your school where you graduated your senior high school?
So I graduated in St. Joseph Institute Technology.
Thank you. So this indicates that the patient could have recalled historical events that happened to her life.
I can't forget.
So now let's proceed on the attention span and calculation. So first, I will going to test the ability to concentrate or attention span by asking the client to recite the alphabet or to count backward from 100. But now, assuming that I will assume that she already count the backward from 100. So, I will proceed now to recite the alphabet. So, ma'am, can you recite the alphabet A to Z?
A, B, C.
Ma'am, louder.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z.
Yay! So now I'll be going to test also the ability to calculate by asking the client to subtract 7 or 3 progressively from 100. So ma'am, 100 minus 7.
93.
Good. Then 93 minus 7.
86.
Then last, 86 minus 7.
79.
Good. So let us proceed on the 3. Let us subtract the 100 into 3. 100 minus 3.
97.
97 minus 3.
94.
94 minus 3.
91.
So this is also measuring the patient's ability. Thoroughly concentrate with the instruction of the patient. So overall, the findings are normal. Then, if ever the patient has difficulty subtracting, you go to another assessment like letting the patient recite alphabet because each of the individual doesn't have the capabilities in numbers. So this is why we have two different assessments. But since she are able to recite the alphabet and she was able to calculate, so it's good. The findings is normal. Now let us proceed on the cranial nerves. I will going to test the cranial nerves. So cranial nerves, olfactory, ask the client to close eyes and identify different mild aromas such as coffee and vanilla. Then the optic, I will going to ask the client to read Snellen's chart, check visual fields by confrontation, and conduct an ophthalmoscopic examination. Then the oculomotor, assess 6 ocular movements and pupil reaction. Then the trochlear, I will going to assess 6 ocular movements. Then the trigeminal, when the client looks upward, lightly touch the lateral sclera of the eye to elicit the blink reflex. And to test the light sensation, have the client to close her eyes and wipe a wisp of cotton over client's forehead and paranasal sinuses. Then to test deep sensation, then use alternating blunt and sharp ends of a safety pin over the same area. Then the abducens, assess directions of gaze, the facial, ask the client to smile, raise the eyebrows, frown, puff out cheeks, and close eyes tightly. Then ask the client to identify various tastes placed on the tip and sides of tongue, sugar, salt, and to identify areas of taste. Then, auditory, assess the client's ability to hear the spoken word and the vibration of a tuning fork. Then the glossopharyngeal, apply taste test on the posterior tongue for identification. Then ask the client to move tongue from side to side and up and down. So for the valgus, assess with CN, IX. Then assess the client's speech for hoarseness. Then for the accessory, ask the client to shrug shoulders against resistance from your hand and to turn the head to the side against resistance from your hand. Then repeat for the other side. Then for the hypoglossal, ask the client to protrude tongue at midline, then move it side to side. Then now, we're done at the cranial. Assuming that we are done to assess the cranial nerves. So now let us proceed also to the reflexes. So to test the reflexes using a percussion hammer, so assuming that this is my percussion hammer, then comparing one side of the body with the other to evaluate the symmetry of response. So now let us begin to the bicep reflex. So partially flex the client's arm at the elbow and rest the forearm over the thighs, placing the palm of the hand down. Then place the thumb of your non-dominant hand horizontally over the biceps tendon. Then deliver a blow, slightly downward thrust. Then with the percussion hammer to my thumb. Yeah. So now let's begin. Then observe the normal slight flexion of the elbow and feel the biceps contraction through my thumb. Then now let us proceed to the triceps reflex. So, flex the client's arm at the elbow and support it in the palm of your non-dominant hand. Then palpate the triceps tendon about 2 to 5 cm or 1 to 2 inches above the elbow. Then deliver a blow with a percussion hammer directly to that tendon. Then observe for the normal slight extension of the elbow. So now we're done. Let us proceed to the brachioradialis reflex. So rest the client's arm in the relaxed position on your forearm or on the client's own leg. Then deliver a blow with a percussion hammer directly on the radius to 2 to 5 cm or 1 to 2 inches above the wrist or the styloid process. No bony prominence on the thumb side of the wrist. Then observe the normal flexion and supination of the forearm. The fingers of the hand might also extend slightly. So we're going this. Or we're going to use this. Then now let's proceed to the patellar reflex. So ask the client to sit on the edge of the examining table so that the legs hang freely. But since I don't have a table, so I'm going to hold these feet. Then locate the patellar tendon directly below the patella. Then deliver a blow with the percussion hammer directly to the tendon. So, observe the normal extension or kicking out of the leg as the quadriceps muscles contract. Then, if no response occurs, and you suspect the client is not relaxed, ask the client to interlock fingers and foot. Ma'am, can you relax? Very good. So now, let us proceed to the Achilles reflex. With the client in the same position as for the patellar reflex test, slightly dorsiflex the client's ankle by supporting the foot lightly in your hand. Then deliver a blow with the percussion hammer directly to the tendon. Then observe and feel the normal plantar reflection, downward jerk of the foot. So since the foot is not dili makita sa camera, so I will going to do this even di siya makita. So now we're done. Let us proceed to the plantar reflex. Then use the moderately sharp objects such as the handle of the percussion hammer, a key or the dull end of the pin, or applicator stick. So stroke the lateral border of the sole of the client's foot, starting at the heel, continuing to the ball of the foot, and then proceeding across the ball of the foot toward the big toe. Then observe the response. I will going stick. Then, since the foot of the client is hindi makita sa camera, I will going to use my hands as the foot of the client. Then now, I will going to stroke the lateral border of the sole of the client's foot, starting at the heel, then assuming this is the heel, and continuing to the ball of the foot. And then proceeding across the ball of the foot toward the big toe. Like this. Like that. Then, observe the response. So now, let us proceed on assessing the motor function. Gross motor and balance test. So, walking gait. So, we're going to ask the client to walk across the room and back and assess the client's gait. So, ma'am, can you walk from here to that point? That point. Then, go back. Then, go to your proper position. So now, let us proceed to the Romberg's test. I will going to ask the client to stand with her feet together and arm resting at the sides. First with eyes open, then closed. Ma'am, can you stand up? Then, can you rest your hands? And, can you open your eyes? Then, in assessing the client, it would be close to her to prevent any forms of falling or injury. So now, I will going to swing or not lightly the patient. So I will going to observe for any excessive swaying or if there is shuffling of the balance of the patient. So ma'am, can you open your eyes? Then relax. Then close your eyes, ma'am. So with that, the patient has a good balance and coordination. So now let us proceed to the standing on one foot with eyes closed. So I will going to ask the client to close her eyes and stand with her one foot, then the other. Then I will going to stand close to the client during this test and take note of any excessive swaying. So, ma'am, can you stand with your one foot only? Then the other foot. Good. So now let us proceed on standing on one foot with eyes closed. So we're going to ask the client to close her eyes and stand one foot, then the other. Then I will going to stand close to the client during this test and take note of any excessive swaying. So how can you close your eyes? Close your eyes. Then stand using your right foot. Close your eyes, relax. Then the other side. Good. So now let's proceed to the heel-toe walking. Ask the client to walk a straight line, placing the heel of one foot directly in front of the toes of the other foot. Ma'am, can you go there? Then use your heel, no, like this, heel. Use your heel to go to that point. Then use your toe to back to the position. Then let's proceed to the toe or heel walking. So ask the client to walk several steps on the toes and then on the heels. So observe response and note normal findings. So ma'am, can you again walk to that point using your toe? Then back to this point using your heel. Very good. So observe response and note normal findings. So ma'am, can you go to your proper position? Now, let's proceed to the fine motor test for the upper extremities. So I will going to use the finger to nose test. So, ask the client to abduct and extend arms at shoulder height and rapidly touch nose alternately with one index finger and then the other. So have the client repeat the test with eyes closed if the test is performed easily. So ma'am, can you spread your arms? Then you going to touch your nose quickly. So touch your nose. Then So, now, I will going to instruct you to touch your nose using your right hand. So, ma'am, can you touch your nose using your right hand? Then, your left hand. Left hand again. Then, your right hand. Then, now I'm going to instruct you to close your eyes while doing this test. So, ma'am, can you touch your nose using your right hand? Then your left hand again, then right. Then now, we're done. Now let us proceed to the alternating supination and pronation of hands on knees. So ask the client to pat both knees with the palms of both hands and then with the backs of hands, alternately at an ever-increasing rate. So ma'am, can you put your hands to your knee? So now we're going to instruct you to up your hands, then close, like this. Then upward, downward, upward again, then downward. So now, we're done. Let us proceed to the finger to nose and to the nurse finger. So we're going to ask the client to touch nose, and then my index finger held at distance at about 45 centimeters or inches, 18 inches at a rapid and increasing rate. So ma'am, can you touch your nose? Touch your nose using your index, then touch my index if I'm going to instruct you. So ma'am, can you touch my index? Back to your nose. Index again. Back to your nose. Then, let's proceed to the fingers to fingers. So, ask the client to spread arms broadly at shoulders height and then bring fingers together at the midline. So first with eyes open and then close first slowly and then rapidly. Then ma'am, can you wide your hand? Then ma'am, can you bring your index finger to the midline? Like this. Yeah. Again. Then, again, can you wide your arm? Then close your eyes by doing that. Then go, can you bring your index finger to the midline? Again, quickly. Nice. Then now let's proceed to the fingers to thumb. So same hand. So we're going to ask the client to touch each fingers of one hand to the thumb of the same hand as rapidly as possible. So first with eyes open and then close. Ma'am, can you open wide your arms again? Then use your thumbs to put your then use your thumbs and you will going to put your thumbs into the midline. You get me? So ma'am, can you do like this? Yeah. Oh, wide then. Okay. Again. Then you're going to do that with your eyes closed. Oh. Now let's start. Again. Very good. Then when the patient was able to perform, note it as a normal finding. Then let's proceed to the fine motor test for the lower extremities. So we're going to ask the client to lie supine and to perform this test. So, first heel down opposite shin. So we're going to ask the client to place the heel of one foot just below the opposite knee and run the heel down the shin to foot. Then repeat with the other foot. The client may also use a sitting position for this test. Ma'am, can you do this? Ma'am, can you do the heel down opposite shin?
Okay.
Okay. Very good. Then let us proceed to the toe or ball of foot to the nurse fingers. Then ask the client to touch my finger with the large toe of each foot. So when the patient was able to perform, note it as normal finding. So ma'am, can you touch my index finger using your toe? Then to the other side. Very good. Then let us proceed to the light touch sensation. So compare the light touch sensation of the symmetric areas of the body. I'm going to ask the client to close her eyes and to respond by saying yes or no whenever the client feels the cotton wisp touching the skin. Then with the wisp of cotton, lightly touch one specific spot and then the same spot on the other side of the body. Then test areas on the forehead, cheek, hand, lower arm, abdomen, foot and lower leg. Then check a distal area of the limb first. Then ask the client to point to the spot where the touch was felt. If areas of sensory dysfunction are found, determine the boundaries of sensation by testing responses approximately every 2 to 5 cm or 1 inch in the area. So I'm going to make a sketch of the sensory loss area for recording purposes if I'm done to do the process. So now let's proceed to do the process. Can you close your eyes, ma'am? So since I have no cotton balls, cotton wrist, I will going to use my hands to touch the specific spot of the patient's body. Ma'am, can you say yes if you feel the touch?
Yes. 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 Yes.
So let us proceed to the pain sensation. So assess pain sensation as follows. Then we're going to ask the client to close her eyes and to say sharp or dull or don't know when the sharp or dull end of the broken tongue depressor it felt. So alternately use the sharp and dull. So assuming that this is the sharp and this is the dull. Then face is not tested in this manner. Then allow at least 2 seconds between each test. Now can you close your eyes? Then you will going to say dull if I'm going to use the dull to touch you. Then you going to say sharp if the sharp object is going to touch I'm going to touch you.
Sharp. Dull.
Ha?
Dull. Sharp.
Alright.
Dull. Sharp.
Thank you. Then now, let us proceed to the temperature sensation. So, touch skin areas with test tubes filled with hot or cold water. So, since I don't have a test tube, I will going to use 2 glasses with hot or cold water. Then, I will going to ask the client to hold the glass, then she will going to determine if it is cold or hot. Ma'am, can you close your eyes? Then I will going to put this one. Then determine if it is cold or hot.
Cold.
Cold. let's proceed. On position or kinesthetic sensation, commonly the middle fingers and the large toes are tested for the kinesthetic sensation. To test the fingers, support the client's arm with one hand and hold the client's palm in the other. To test the toes, place the client's heels on the examining table. So since I don't have examining table, I will going to ask the client to put her heels to my knees. So ma'am, can you put your heels to my knees? Please. Then I will going to ask the client to close her eyes, then grasp a middle finger or a big toe firmly between your thumb and index. Then finger and exert the same pressure on the both sides of the finger or toe while moving it. Then move the finger or toe until it is up, down, or straight out. And ask the client to identify the positions. So ma'am, can you identify the position?
Up. Down. Straight. Up. Down. Straight.
Very good. So, let's proceed to the tactile discrimination. For all the tests, the client's eyes need to be closed. Close. Then 1-2 point discrimination. Alternately stimulate the skin with 2 pins simultaneously. So we're going to use this. We're going to use these sticks. Then let's proceed. Ma'am, can you close your eyes? Then you just tell me if you feel too peak or you couldn't disengage. Okay? Yung on one.
One. Two. One. Two. Two. One.
So now we're done. Let's proceed to the stereognosis. So place familiar objects such as a key, paper clip, or point in the client's hand. Then ask the client to identify them with the closed eyes. Then if the client has a motor impairment of the hand and is unable to manipulate an object, write a number or letter on the client's palm using a blunt instrument and ask the client to identify it. So first, ma'am, can you close your eyes? Then identify the object that I will be going to put to your hand.
Marker.
Good.
A ruler.
Nice.
A book.
Good job. So now let's proceed to the extinction phenomenon. So first, we're going to ask the patient to close her eyes again. Then, simultaneously stimulate 2 symmetric areas of the body, such as the thigh, the cheeks, or the hands using my index finger. Then instruct the client if where we are touching the area. So ma'am, anytime that I'm going to touch the symmetric areas of your body, could you determine that for me, if it's okay? No, can you close your eyes? I'm going to put this first here.
Neck.
Very good.
Cheeks.
Nice.
Hands.
Nice.
Hands there. Arm. Arms.
Nice.
Hands.
So now we're done. Then lastly, let's document findings in the client record. So that would be all. Thank you.